Three men were on their way to their execution by crucifixion. Crosses that were made for death. And on their way, there was a crowd yelling and mocking and screaming at these men. And so in that moment when three men hung upon their crosses, ready to die, the one criminal who knew his transgressions was desperate to know that as he was facing death, there was still hope.
So there's this tale of these two sons who live with their dad. And one of the sons does not like his dad. I mean, to the fact that he cannot stand his dad anymore. He's like, hey, let's split my inheritance right now, and I'm out. He just goes wild and spends all of the money and just living large, and then it just crashes down.
There's this man that when you hear his name, your emotions immediately begin to soar and you're upset, and he felt despised by so many people that were living in his town. And this man hears that Jesus is coming through his community that day. And this man has one problem though. He's short. And if you know me, I could relate with him. And this guy who felt rejected and hated and despised decides that he wants to see Jesus as he comes through that town. And so in an attempt to make sure he could spot him, to make sure he could see him, decides he's gonna climb a tree just so he can catch a glimpse of Jesus that day.
In his desperation, he knew that Jesus was the one who could save him. And he turns to Jesus, the one who was being mocked and ridiculed. And he asked, will you remember me when you reach your kingdom? And Jesus turns to that criminal and says, I assure you, today you will be with me in paradise.
So now here he is with nothing, and he doesn't have anything left, and he realizes back home his dad's servants are taken care of. And so he heads back home. He's got this speech all prepared, and he sees his dad running towards him. And when he finally meets up with his dad, he's prepared to give him this speech and this letter, and his dad throws his arms around him and says, let's celebrate, my son is home.
And as Zacchaeus is in that tree, Jesus looks right up at him and says, Zacchaeus, I'm coming to your house today. This man who felt that everyone had rejected him, that everyone hated him, Jesus is coming to his house that day.
So you may feel like you are that criminal on the cross. You feel like everything that has led up to this moment has led you to the point where it says, I deserve to be in this spot of punishment. And maybe you just need to turn to Jesus in this moment and say, remember me. Maybe you need to hear Jesus say, I assure you, today you will be with me in paradise.
So you may feel like that son, that you've squandered everything and lost everything, you have nothing left, and you need to grovel back. But see, you're like that son, and God is like the Father, and when he comes back, he throws his arms around you and he welcomes you. And Christ says, you are so welcome, and he celebrates you, and he says, you are home with me.
And the reality is that you may feel just like Zacchaeus did. You may feel that you're rejected, that you're despised from everyone around you. But Jesus says he wants to come to your house today. He wants to spend time with you.
So there's a lion on your side.
There is a lion on your side.
And there's a lion on your side.
And he lives within you.
And he lives within you.
And he lives within you.